Hello everyone and a warm welcome to the Wendercast with me, Calva and Jimbo. We'll be discussing the latest MFL updates, transfers, developments and so much more as the weeks go by, and we have a lot of stuff to discuss today for sure. One important note as always, this is not financial advice, so do your own scouting or hire a director of Metaverse Football. So Jimbo, not entering today because you're a little bit under the weather, you said?
Yes, I'm a little bit ill, so thank you for the intro. Substitution, quick one there, taking the reins with the introduction. I thought may not be the best, first impression for any new listeners to hear someone that was ill doing the intro and sounding a bit boggy. But thank you very much for taking that. That was splendid.
To me, still sounds fine though. But,
thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. I sound awful and I feel awful, but we go again. We come back stronger.
Yes, definitely. Today we have a lot of stuff to talk about because we had this big announcement about the Breakaway, this special season in between the regular alpha testing seasons and season 1. So that's a lot of stuff to unpack later on this episode. There's quite some confusing users. People don't really get it. So I think it will be good to break down. Plus there's a whole other element, I think. It's like what to do right now with your squad building and loaning out, because I think it's a little bit of a game changer, the way the rules are set for this one. So a lot of stuff to talk about later on.
Yeah.
And we were just talking before the episode that it feels like ages that we did a live stream.
Yeah.
But it's 5 days ago.
Yeah, it was only 5 days ago, Tuesday. We had our stream, which was the final match day of season 0.8, seeing off ping pong ball and watching the IMFF Cup finals. So thank you to everyone who joined and contributed for that. We also were taking part and helping Huit de Peak. Is it Peak to? It is Huit de Peak.
We the Peak. We the Peak.
Yeah, I thought it was the other way around.
8 of spades, right?
Yeah.
8 of spades. Yeah.
Helping him with his MFL logo competition, which I think he's got all 36? 32, yeah, sorry, I'm about 32, yeah. All 32 clubs now ready for that. So over the next couple of weeks or so, we'll be seeing who. I saw your Black Sea got in there, didn't they? Was it one of your clubs got in there?
Yeah, well, it's a bit lucky.
Fraud.
I did react to his OG, like his original post, and I didn't make it. And then, I felt like I'm already, judging and putting in logos, so I'm not going to post another one anywhere. But then Sorare OM, he just randomly picked my logo because it's part of his followers and he thought it was cool. So,
okay, cool.
It's like, I got picked by him, so thanks a lot to Sorare OM, and let's see how far Black Sea is. Maybe they can win a prize with this instead of playing Metaverse Football, I think.
Well, yeah. As long as they win a prize, I need to have at least 4% of that prize.
Yeah, 4% of that, yes. So let's see. We'll probably talk maybe later on or next week more about that. Those logo competitions.
Yeah.
And I also felt like maybe with this Breakaway, there's no drop, but there will be some cup finals, so maybe we can stream those again.
Yeah, we can
stream
Breakaway
Cup
finals. And I guess because we'll be using the 2D visual, that we can maybe chuck in a couple of, maybe once a week or so, like just a couple of hours of a stream, just to sort of chillax and watch the games, because that's what the new visual allows us to do. It allows us to just sit back and relax and watch the games, right, and have a chat with the community.
Just spin the wheel. Maybe we get a lot of those tickets and we can spin the wheel for an hour.
Spin the wheel. Yeah. Maybe Dio will be sleep. Make sure Dio's sleeping though. That's the main thing. Make sure Dio's sleeping when those.
Yes. So more also about that wheel, like how can you win those tickets exactly? But let's start with the weekly updates. So, what was your MFL moment of the week?
Like I said about the live streams, it felt like a good couple of weeks ago since the season ended as well. And, I mean, the only noticeable thing I've got is that the Wyvern secured second place, but I'm pretty sure that happened before the end of the season anyway on last week's pod. But I ended up taking away just over 8,700 MFL, which, considering 55 of the Wyverns gets contracted out and 34% of the Esbar Tails, I'll happily take just shy of 8.7k in MFL, albeit a third of that, 32% of that, was from the first look face-off. So it wasn't for the first look face-off, then I wouldn't have got anywhere near that. But it enabled me to get an uncommon player, which I got a centre mid. I saw a centre back, 65 rated. Yeah.
So
I
was already like, I didn't hear about it, but now I know why. It was
I recorded it on my
65.
phone and I was like, oh, please don't be 65. And I was like, God damn it, not looking good.
Then you don't want to share it anymore. Right? like whatever.
But yeah, that was my highlight. It wasn't nothing. My moment of the week is managed to secure seconds, and I think I had my second biggest haul of MFL in a season, so I'll take that.
Okay, well that's still nice, right? That you got that.
Yeah.
You could buy that uncommon.
Yeah. Well, you've got a much more lavish and what I'm trying to say, much more fucking hell. You had a much better moment of the week compared to me, is what I'm going to say.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Prestigious moment of the week, yeah.
Well, on stream before I won the cup, and then I was saying to everyone, like, okay, I have still a chance to win the double. I was a bit afraid. Big Wilbert was also in the chat, and he was like, no, you're gonna win. But before I lost against his team, I lost against like a lower team, so I was really afraid if I lose again, because he was gonna play against this crazy fatigue side. So if I lost, I would have lost the title. But luckily I won, so I won for the first time ever in my MFL career, the double with Corsair Cove.
Congratulations. So how does that feel? Does it feel good?
Felt very good, yeah, because they kind of had this Corsair curse, I called it. It almost looks like some new Pirates of the Caribbean movie, the curse of the Corsair. But I finished like second, like 4 times in previous alpha seasons. So finally they won the league plus also the cup. So that feels like kind of the story is finished there.
Yeah.
Like we broke the curse, we won the double, and now we're ready for
it all goes down
the breakaway and season 1. So
all goes downhill.
But felt very good, yeah.
Yeah. To get a double in these 8 seasons is a great achievement. So congrats to you. I've done it once, season 0.3. The Wyverns did league and cup. But haven't done that since. So congrats on that one, mate.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, that was really, really good. And now I feel like, later on we'll talk about it, but like kind of stack them like crazy because they will take part in the Alpha Champions. So I want to boost their luck there a little bit. Of course, but more about that later, why that might be a smart strategy. So let's look now at the dev updates. Of course, the breakaway, we've been talking about it already and much more later. The player contracts have ended and have been renewed. So you can sign players again. And the transfer window is open for at least another week. So good luck with the squad building. About the breakaway, the team is working on the wheel mechanism to use your tickets and spin the wheel. And there's also a couple of other exciting features for Season 1 on the way, maybe announced or released during the breakaway. So stay tuned for that. About the engine, so as Jimbo just said, all matches from now on will be in 2D. We said goodbye to the ping pong ball, to the dot. So 2D is here, and Quentin keeps improving it to hopefully release a new version before the breakaway tournament starts. So he's working on a match engine to improve wing play, the attack, and some rebalancing. Player progression, the internal testing is also still continuing, and they made some improvements to the aging process and training load management. And also the observation system, they're working on that so you can really track the progression and what you need to work on. And finally, next week also there should be a new kind of player HQ view, player view, where you can also see the match performance of the current and previous seasons there. So next week we see a couple of maybe a new engine and a new player table, player view in HQ.
Yeah.
Any
Very nice.
reactions to those things?
We'll dive more into the whole Breakaway piece later, but I think, for example, that player HQ piece, we've seen a lot of people who have asked in the past, can I see all of my players', performances and match ratings in my player HQ rather than have to go onto their player profile and look at them, for example. Especially if you have a large agency and contract out all those players, having it all in one place, you can quite quickly and in an accessible way see those ratings. So that's a highlight for me. So look forward to that.
Yeah, I really hope that you also have maybe like your goals this season. That you see a couple of guys who scored loads of goals, or the highest rating, like the player with the highest rating in your agency and the most goals scored from a player in your agency. Like those kind of a quick overview that adds a lot of like little fun stuff, and you can check other people's profile. Like, oh, they have this amazing player.
Yeah.
So to add a bit of that match performance, that's really cool to see. So I agree.
Definitely.
It will be really fun. Then the season Diamond update. So Diamond ended. We already knew that Biscione Milano won, but the second place was still was a race for the second place.
Yeah.
Which Londinium FC won. They ended second in Diamond. Meta Mercenaries third place. And BFC Barcelona fourth in the end. Basel would have been relegated. There's no relegation, so he finished 10th with 11 points. And then quite a big bunch between 18 and 24. And I also want to do a shout out to the winners of Plat 1 and 2. So BFC Manchester, Ballers second team, that's very well there and won.
Very
Plat,
nice, yep. Very
Plat
nice.
1 and Plat 2 won by Dio. So Amsterdam Lions with Dirk. Dirk, glory for Dirk. Yep. He must be one of the most successful players in terms of winning leagues with Meta. Then one season not, and now again in Plat with the Amsterdam Lions. So congrats to Dirk and to Dio for winning that title. Any reactions to the table, or did we cover most last time?
Just one really quick shout out to you and his first season in Diamond, because I imagine it could have been fairly intimidating coming into a well-established Diamond League after 7 seasons. In his 8th season, he's not come bottom, and you could have argued that a lot of the Diamond talent had already been swept up and taken up by the other managers because of the time they've had to collect and contract or sign those players. For someone to come in after 7 seasons and not come bottom, I think is a great achievement. So good foundations for I was going to say technically it's for season 1, right? Good foundations for season 1, or in his case, it depending on how his squad size goes, it may not be the top league in Breakaway, but that's for later discussions.
Well, I have some more stuff about you in the market info, market moves. So, and also interesting for later for this story is that he ended 8th, Samba FC, and Parque Ibirapuera from Profound Soda FC Cincinnati is 9th. Yeah, so more about those two teams in a second. And then as match of the week, I put the Cup final, Titans Cup final, which we were watching live. We kind of tuned in, like, was it 30 minutes after 30 minutes played?
After 30 minutes, there were 4 goals.
I think 30, and it was already like 3-1, right?
Yeah, 23 goals, it was 3-1. Yeah, 23 minutes, 23 goals. 23 minutes.
Yeah, it was already 3-1 for Joe B's OM Legends. And in the end, it was 3-2. They managed to score 1. I think there was like a couple of shots like in the final minutes from Londinium. But they didn't manage to equalize. So Joe B won another final.
Back to back.
Really back to back. Really amazing performance. So congrats to that.
Yeah,
it was
definitely.
Yeah, like it's quite interesting too, but this also happens in real football. Sometimes you have a first half with loads of scoring, and then second half they kind of both. Like in the dressing room, the coaches probably address this, and then after that, it's kind of quite like more. Yeah, well, based on the stats, Joe B also really deserved it. 64% possession. He had 1.4 xG and Londinium 0.85. Although they had more shots on target, but then probably from more distance or less quality shots. So based on those stats, he did deserve it. It's definitely not stolen. So again, congrats to Joe B for that amazing win in the Titans Cup final. Okay, time for market moves. A couple of new managers, not so many. I found 3 real new ones, and the new user of the week is kind of fake, but I'll tell you why in a second. So new managers are Tipster Edge, who was very active this week, bought loads of players. Also Colas and MVTIS. I don't know how to pronounce this, MVTIS. So welcome to you, welcome to MFL. Both very busy in the salesbot. In general, salesbot was going pretty crazy. Always good to see. And then as new user of the week, I put SoProp, which is So Rare Probabilities. Maybe you know him from Twitter. You heard about that name?
I've the name sounds familiar. You know when they say like, "Oh, do you know this person?" You go, "I know of them." I don't know them. I know of them.
But you've seen his name, or there's loads of So Rare accounts, right?
On he's so rare and check any other word afterwards.
Yeah, there's loads of So Rare, but why I put him as like kind of a fake user of the week? It's like the first time that I see him in Salesbot, and he had his first kind of purchase in the Salesbot, but he has already built a team that won like the cup and the league in 0.7 with like, I think it was an ice team or stone team. But he built this whole team apparently with packs and with loans. And this is the first time ever that he buys someone from the marketplace. So that's pretty interesting that he was not using marketplace at all, just some packs, some guys, and he built a team that won some prizes already in season 0.7. So he's kind of new user of the week because it's the first time I see him in the Salesbot, but he's been around for a little bit. But still a welcome to him. Okay, some other market moves about common, uncommons. 408 Sauce, who's been on the pot a couple of weeks ago. He's been buying up a lot of Croatian and Serbian talents, Balkan talents. I also sold one of my guys to him, Croatian striker, very talented one. And I had a little conversation, and he said he's trying to build kind of an all Croatian Serbian team. And he tries to emulate Red Star Belgrado's 1991 team that won the European Cup 1, the Champions League before. And they won, which is a bit juicy, against Marseille. So there's loads of Marseille fans. So he tries to build a team that is beating maybe also some Marseille fans. Let's see. So that's great. Then rare players, another user that you don't hear about a lot. He's called Delaro. Do you know this guy?
No.
No. But actually, he's a pretty big agent, but he has not connected, I think, his account to Discord, because it only says his wallet. But Delaro is, I think, on Twitter, so that's why I know that name. But actually, he has a pretty big account. He has 3 legendaries. He has a gold team, which is Brooklyn MFC in gold. And he bought 3 new rare players, an 83 rated, 80, and a 78. So he has a pretty strong, kind of a league title contender in gold. But because he's not on Discord, it's a bit hidden. But actually, he's a pretty good guy. So shout out to him. Then back to the story about you. So he bought 4 legendaries, an 87, an 88, an 89, and a 90. So nice sequence. From FC Cincinnati, from Profound Soda. So kind of from his direct competitor, let's say, the team who finished one spot below him, he bought 4 of his pretty good guys, kind of his main squad. So you is getting stronger, and Parque Ibirapuera, Cincinnati, is getting weaker. It's a bit like Bayern buying the best players from Dortmund to make them weaker almost.
Yeah.
So you is knocking on the door, and he was also asking for Lego packs again. It's a bit of a meme that he is a player buy sell. He's like, anyone selling Lego packs? So he's very ambitious. He's showing a lot of ambition. And then about clubs, Crazy Cult finally sold his Lyon gold team. He was also
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
saying that a lot in clubs by Cell Discord page to Earl the Goat. And then he bought a certain team, but maybe you can do a club splash and a player splash, like 2 splashes.
Splash of the week. Times 2, because we've got 2, as you mentioned. We'll go with the one you just mentioned, and we'll link into them nicely. The club splash of the week. Crazy Colt purchasing Ortiz Diamond Paris team for $1,150. So, looks like we might actually get a competitive Paris team in Diamond coming up into the Diamond League now. None of this, I'm not good enough, not going to play stuff. Hopefully Crazy Colt's going to come in there and give it big ones, give it big ones. That's what I want to see.
Yes, and it's now 11 teams with active managers. Although I don't know what's going to happen with Ibirapuera, with Profound selling a lot of his best players.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
Should be 11 teams now, and then the one in the wallet of MFL. So it should be complete soon, hopefully.
Should hopefully soon. Well, maybe in 4 weeks we'll see. And then for the other splash of the week, which is actually less money than the club, but it's obviously still a splash because it's a player splash of the week. We have Emmanuel Vitilio from Italy, if you could have guessed that one. Fragioco. When we say the Italian nationality, there's usually only one person that means is involved in that transaction, usually on the purchasing side, and that is the exact way it's gone today. Fragioco has purchased this player from Big Wilbert for $1,100, age 24, triple position, striker, right mid, left mid, can play anywhere on that front three. Overall 88, pace 87, shooting 95, little sharpshooter wizard. Passing 78, dribbling 81, and physical 79. We don't give 2 bollocks about the defending for a striker, so we're not even going to mention it, but it's low. 2 big splashes coming up, combined over $2,200 combined. So it's great to see a lot more action in the marketplace this week across the whole 8 divisions of MFL, not just sort of like the rare and the uncommon. We've got the high,
loads of people are preparing and buying for Breakaway in season 1. Yeah, so Fragioco really wanted to be splash of the week also. So we and it's a massive splash. So we thought let's just do 2 splashes: the club splash and the player splash.
Yeah,
1150, 1100 almost is the same. So yeah, it's nice that Crazy Gold sold that Lyon 400 and immediately pivoted. I'm going to use that money, add more money, get that diamond. And he's going to build a nice Paris team. Can I say the capital of MFL? Well, there's the headquarters, kind of. The HQ is in Paris. So they should have a team wrapping Paris in there.
Yeah.
I think. Okay, time to move on to IRL MFL. You have a moment.
As sometimes I like to do, I like to shout out a bit of the FPL side here. Mine's really short and sweet. Shout out to anyone who has Palmer in their team this week from the FPL. And a mega shout out, I want to say, to Hoodwink, because I think he brought him in and captained them this week, which would have brought him in something like 70 odd points. No, not 70 odd points, sorry, like 50? Yeah, maybe about 49, 50. I can't remember the exact amount. I could do the maths in my head. We'll do it now. 4 goals, 20. Bonus points, 3. Played 90, got extra 2. Don't know if he got booked or not, so 25. Yeah, we got 50. We got 50, which is a huge score considering that I think I've got 65 with 1 player left, and he got 85% of my score through 1 player. So shout out to anyone who got Cole Palmer in, and or Cold Palmer with his little chippy chips. Bagged in 4 goals, hat trick in like 15 minutes or something. It was nuts.
And he's a midfielder, right? So it's more points per goal.
He bags 5 per goal rather than a striker's 4 and a defender's 6. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like smart move if you had Palmer there. So congrats to anyone who did that. I want to talk. I wrote down rotation risks. So in MFL, you need to rotate because players get tired and you need to restore their energy levels. Of course, the same happens in IRL, no surprise, and especially teams who play European during the week, and then in the weekend they play in the normal leagues. But there's also some risks to it, so I don't know, Jimbo, you saw Barcelona's scoreline.
I saw the result, yeah. 4-2, wasn't it?
4-2.
Osasuna? Yeah.
Yeah, like 4-1 for a long time and 2-0 by halftime. And they lined up a lot of like players who normally don't start, and they put Lamine Yamal on the bench to give him a bit of rest. But yeah, that's a risk if you leave out some of your good guys, your players, and you use some subs. So they got punished for it, and they lost 3 points there at Osasuna. PSV, my team from Eindhoven,
They
did the same.
They draw?
No, they won 2-0.
I won 2-0.
But they also benched Luc de Jong so he can save some energy for the Champions League match.
Yeah.
And for our American listeners, you're probably happy to know that Ricardo Pepi scored a brace. He's the talented backup of Luc de Jong.
Yeah.
And probably they're going to play him way more. But that rotated side did much better. They struggled a little bit, but there's too much quality. They have Perisic now there as a left winger. So sometimes if you rotate, it pays off, and sometimes you lose 3 points. So always be careful.
I guess the rotations, I'm not going to say you could expect them because that's hindsight, obviously, but they both lost their first 2 Champions League games. So I can imagine Barca wanting to rest a few players because they need to pick up wins in the Champions League, especially against young boys. I've got to be careful what sort of words I use around that team.
Yes.
So, but yeah,
4-2. They lost
you
their
still
first
expect
game,
to be
right?
competitive. You still expect to be competitive, huh?
They lost. You said lost their first 2 games, but they both lost a game. Right?
Yeah, so that's what I meant. They both lost their first 2 games. The way PSV lost to Juventus and then Barca lost to Monaco. That's the way I think. It made sense in my head. But yeah.
Yeah, so it makes sense that they prioritize that a little bit, and then they play a lower league side. They're like, okay, let's rotate a little bit. But it's hard to compete on multiple fronts. Same with MFL, right? Leagues and cups, and especially now with the Breakaway, there's like even 3 tournaments for some people.
Yeah.
So
talking about Breakaway, like you mentioned right at the start of the pod, the big news this week was the announcement of the Breakaway. It's the final stop before season. I was going to say 0.1. I'm so used to saying 0 in front of the season. Season 1, it's the final stop. October Madness, a bit like March Madness, but we've got an October Madness. First reaction, Calva?
Well, the first reaction is that it's 2 announcements, but because they announced the Breakaway and then casually said road to season 1, kind of applying season 1 is almost here, and it's going to be the next thing, they also announced season 1 is here. So I feel it's they kind of casually dropped that, but that's maybe even bigger thing is that season 1 is really going to be here very soon, like before the end of the year. Then, right? If this is October, then November, December, somewhere around that time, season 1 is going to start. So yeah, it's a massive change, and it's really breaking the cycle of like 0.1, 0.2, 0.8, and it's suddenly Breakaway season 1. So it's really. Yeah, we're now entering new territory, like uncharted territory. Really new times, new period for MFL and for everyone playing it. So it's really, and this already changed a lot, and then season 1 will change a lot. So it's really a massive moment, in MFL's history.
Yeah, massive announcement. A lot of things to think about. Obviously, first of all, getting your head around what all this Breakaway season actually entails, and then we'll mention this later on, but also how does your approach change, stay the same for Breakaway because of the new format, the new structure to this sort of mini season with a lot of mini games inside it, we'll call it, before we hit season 1. So,
and I think it's also why the team chose this is to kind of get you ready for season 1. I was mentioning this in general today with I think Noé Sark was a bit confused and it's so I'm kind of forced to change my teams around. And I think exactly that's what they want you to do, is to rethink your teams, because with the breakaway it's gonna division doesn't matter. But then when you make this like season 1 and you have to build your squad for season 1 with player progression, you also have to rethink your squads. So it's already a good moment to kind of shake things up. And then when season 1, it's a bit easier for everyone to make a decision where to put your guys. So
And
I think it's kind of sorry?
Yeah, and as I don't forget, you're starting season 1 from fresh as well. You are starting from fresh.
Yeah,
Matt
so this is a bit
that, and
smoother to already break them up a little bit, your teams, and then you have totally fresh, maybe reset all your contracts.
Yeah.
And rebuild your agency. So it's a nice little bit softer transition in that way. So I think it's smart what they do.
Although on the flip side of it, I can imagine for a new user it's slightly confusing, because they may come in expecting like a league or a cup for like one season, maybe, or season 1, and then they're like, hang on, my first season's not a league, but it's not the same as what season 1's going to be. That can be a little bit. So I can understand some people getting confused to a brand new into MFL on that side.
Yes, no, that is true. I don't think it's a great time for like a marketing push, because people are like, is this regular gameplay, right? Is this regular seasons? Which it isn't. Although I think it is good for people who joined with the kind of the push with the Stone Leagues and the Ice Leagues. They came in and bought that Stone Club or Ice Club and often stacked it. And then now they finally have a chance to compete in higher leagues. Plus, they have to rethink, is this really my level? Or should I maybe buy an iron or bronze license?
When
is
they've
it
been
maybe more my level?
Smashing stone and ice, and suddenly they come against relatively similar competition, and they're like, cock.
Yes.
Maybe I'm not the manager I thought I was. Or maybe you are. Maybe you are still an amazing manager. And
exactly. So it's also a time for all teams to kind of travel through the pyramid and then see... Yeah. Okay, maybe I should start out season 1 on a higher level.
Yeah.
So it kind of forces everyone to change the perspective a little bit.
Yeah.
More about it later, because also for agents, I think it's kind of I know I can swear, right? It's a bit of a mindfuck.
Yeah, just swear, mate. Yeah, I've been doing it for the last couple of weeks.
I think it's a bit, for me also, it's really mindfuck. It's like, okay, so division doesn't matter. Okay, and then you're so in that mindset. Okay, let's first just say what it's all about, to break down the details and what is different and new. So let's start Breakaway League. So Jimbo, how is this different from your regular league?
Well, the regular league, you're in your division, right? You're in your division that your club is in, but the Breakaway leagues, they're open to all, and they are 8-team leagues, so they're not going to be 12 or as close to 12. They're 8-team leagues with daily matches, and you'll be entered with teams of similar strength. And rewards for this season are in MFL for the top 2, and for every win that you achieve in the Breakaway League, you win a ticket for the Breakaway wheel, which is like an all-encompassing big reward wheel. I think the key factor here is there's daily matches, 8, so that for fatigue piece, 8 teams per league, and they're teams of similar strength. So I like to look at it is that the whole of Breakaway season is essentially just IMFF Cup like strength formatting. It's basically a league, but it's got the cup seeding to it. That's essentially what it is.
Yes. Yeah, so it's just the better your team, you're still facing just better opposition.
Yeah.
You cannot get an edge by having a very good team and then you draw.
Yeah. You may have an edge of maybe at most 1 overall, but I reckon it'll be less than that. It'll be maybe like half an overall.
Yeah,
so
no, with the amount of teams
it'll be
clubs,
such minuscule differences.
Yeah, it won't be much.
Unless you've got a few misfits and things, and that's not that makes it different, right? But yeah, it'll be minuscule difference.
Yeah,
between
and it's also teams. What's also really different is also from an agent's perspective. There's like, if you loan out guys, there's no guaranteed return, like kind of on investment or let's say only the top 2 gets MFL. So if you loan out a guy to a club that's going to end 3rd, 4th, or 8th place, they're not generating any MFL for you. So it's only those 2 top spots. And before it was like guaranteed that you at least get something for loaning out those guys. So that's, so only top 2 wins. Although if you get a win, you have those breakaway tickets for
which
the
I
wheel
think they
to spin.
expect. They've expected more than 10,000 MFLs expect to be distributed. I think I initially read that as more than 10,000 tickets, but there'll be a hell of a lot of tickets. Depending on the amount of wins, there's going to be a lot of tickets going around.
Very curious about that. Yeah, so in the wheel, we'll mention this a lot, like that you can win tickets for each competition. So in the wheel, there's like player packs. There's, I think, individual players. There's some MFL. Some things are no price, of course, so you can get unlucky. And different amounts of MFL, I think, will be on the wheel.
Yeah.
So it's like in those game shows, right, where you have like all those different amounts and then
spin the wheel sort of thing.
It will be really, really fun.
Yeah.
So the cup, we can be quick about it because the cups are just like the IMFF Cup.
Yeah.
Although I think only from quarterfinal.
Yeah, only quarterfinal onwards.
Before was round of 16.
Yep, correct.
So it's one round later.
Yep.
And each win is a ticket. And the rest is the same.
Yeah.
I think. Yes. Yep. So that's not much change. But then one totally new thing is the Alpha Champions Tournament.
Yeah, so this is quite exciting, isn't it? Yeah. So this is a straight 64 team single elimination tournament, or tournaments, because there'll be multiple of them, reserved exclusively to previous champions from either the league or the IMFF Cup. So Calva, you were mentioning earlier about your Corsair Cove. You said that's their first ever trophies?
Yes.
Yeah, so you've now secured a spot. Yeah, you've secured a spot.
Well, this is also important. It's for the clubs, right?
It's for the club, yeah. So
and not manager. So if you won it with...
if you now if you transferred Corsair Cove now, you wouldn't be in because it's tied to the club. Works like that, yeah.
Yeah, because my other Corsair team, Casablanca Corsairs, they won Gold League in season 1, 0.1, managed by 99. And after that, they never won anything anymore. Oh, yeah. But I'm still
Speaks volumes about your managerial.
Because of 99 winning it. So
yeah.
So thanks to him, I have a ticket with that team.
Very nice. Both of mine are in because they both won trophies, so I'm happy with that. And then again, each win will grant you a breakaway wheel ticket, and the winner of each bracket will snag a brand new club license up to the silver division, which is very interesting. So imagine those top ones will get the silver, and then ice to silver is up for grabs.
Yeah, I reckon how many clubs would have won something? Well, if you have 5 brackets of 64 and then silver, bronze, iron, stone, ice, I think that's about the amount of clubs who won something. I think like 300 something.
Has there been? Well, is that cup gonna be similar format to the IMFF Cups, or is it just pure pot that my Stone Espartales could get dropped in against Meta Mercenaries and somehow face them in the bracket?
That must be based on average also.
Because if it is, then you are going to get a couple of teams who are going to get stitched up in those diamond and plat ones because they have to make the numbers. There's someone.
Yeah, but then I think it's like just some gold teams in the 64. Although 64 is quite
it's a lot of teams. It's a lot of teams.
Diamond.
Maybe if you're like bronze and iron, you might be better off here.
Yeah, I wonder. Like, I think in iron you have like a lot of champions.
Yeah.
But then I think I made a quiz question about this before. I think it's only 4 teams in diamonds or 5 who won something out of 10 or 11. So that's already 5 out of there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it will be interesting to see how they fill up those brackets in the Alpha Champions. And then final competition is the Rapid Play, which we already we had some tournaments before. like
Yeah.
one day, right? Like 2 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah, we had it was like one day or like over 2 days, and it's just quick
Just a
fire
rapid play.
tournaments,
Yeah.
instant, I guess, prizes sort of thing. But what's quite interesting this time is that you can put your MFL on the line, or you can join a free roll. So you can join it for free and then just take a share of the prize at the end, which is quite interesting.
Yeah. So you don't have to. It is also great because before there were some complaints, right? Well, kind of. If you're a new user, you had no chance of winning.
The timing
MFL.
of the rapid play for this season was before rewards have been distributed. So anyone who was
Also,
new, who played their first season 0.8, or like you just mentioned, brand new, couldn't join in with those. So they felt slightly left out.
Everyone will have a chance, and maybe if you want to win bigger, you have to put an entry fee there. Spend some MFL to win more MFL. Yes, I think that's pretty much all the details. Yeah, and the dates is like it's going to end on October 25th. So, and starting the 8th, I think.
It will start next Tuesday when you listen to this. Tuesday the 8th is the first day.
Yeah, so it's like kind of the whole month of October will be in this breakaway.
Yeah, it's near enough the whole month, isn't it? Yeah. What's also interesting as well, the transfer window shuts the day before things as well. So there's none of this you getting matched up in leagues or cups or anything like that, and you can try and sift your way through and be a bit sneaky. Once the transfer window shuts, then the formatting happens, which is nice.
Yeah, then they can calculate overall and do the to make fair leagues and cups.
One small addition before we talk strategy and tactics, or non-tactical advice, as we like to say on here. They've also mentioned the bottom medium. There's a little token of appreciation for OGs. So if you're a little MFL OG, we'll add a little something to your profile sometime soon. It's probably gonna be a little badge or something saying, OG. There was rumours. I was wondering if it would be done on the Discord profile role, but obviously because of things like the incident last summer where people got booted from the Discord, that can't be no more. But Matt has confirmed it's on alpha season participation. So I imagine if you could participate in every single season, you'll have a little thing on your profile, which I imagine that's what's going to be. If so, you and I will both have a little extra badge on ours. But it's just a nice little touch, isn't it, for
I think that's also part of the Alpha Champions. It's a little bit of rewarding OG users, of people who've been playing a lot, that they have this chance to win some prizes now, or have this little badge, etc. Yeah, so let's move on to how to prepare, best strategies. So to fully have a proper discussion about it, I think there's two key elements that make this different. So one is that the division doesn't matter at all for the whole season. And the second thing is that for Cup and League winners, they have an extra tournament in which they are going to compete. So I think those two elements, they kind of change the way you should be building your squads, or you should be kind of what to consider when loaning out players. So what is your initial reaction like, or for your? I think for your teams, are things changing or not so much?
I've not really decided 100% yet. I think I'll probably change my strategy. Whereas at the moment, I've got, for example, my Wyverns, I've got Dematos, my 78 rated CDM. I'm likely to send him out because I want to have a more balanced, whatever the top 11 or top 18, whichever one they decide to use for the seeding and the overall calculation. I want to have a more rounded approach. I don't want to get... The Wyverns have historically done well, and my teams historically do well in cups, and I want to maintain that. And going along with that, I will probably prioritise the cups because it's less advancement to win something, I think is the key bit here. Even though it may not be, the quarterfinals might not be as much as coming first or second, especially not first in the leagues, it's still something. But then again, the leagues are only 8 teams, so that's 25% of the league. I don't know, it's a real tough one, but leagues are obviously going to be like IMF Cups as well, so they're going to be similar competition. And then, like you said, the extra competition for league and cup winners, that's also fatigue turned on for that as well. So you've got triple competition to consider fatigue about, which I think is going to be an absolute it's gonna be a mind boggler, especially if you're first to third in the league. You've got quite far in either cup or both cups, and you're having to debate, well, do I rotate some players to do a Barcelona and go for the cup and sacrifice the league for a bit? But then if the league could be more rewarding if you get knocked out on that part of the cup, there's a lot of things to consider. But for me, I will likely average down my overalls in both my teams to try and make them more balanced, I think, and then use a bit more of my tactical prowess, we'll call it, as a manager to make the difference from the overalls I would have lost.
Yeah, well, that's already one interesting piece of advice or like strategy to do, is to have a very balanced squad. And again, this is not a coincidence, because with player progression, this might also be a smart thing to do, to have kind of players of similar level. You played, I think, or we were commentating this first look face-off tournament, and there was this legendary striker in this much weaker team, if you remember.
Yep, and they won it, didn't they? Did they win it, or did they not?
I think
they got to the final.
Yeah, I think they didn't win it. I think they got knocked out eventually. But the point is, like, having this crazy good striker, legendary, with a much weaker amount of teammates. Well, now for this breakaway season, you're only gonna increase your average, and with just one good guy, this is gonna really mess up, I think, your chances. So it's a dangerous thing to do. Plus, they want to train you. I think MFL conspiracy, but no, they want to train you that if you do this the same in season 1, you're gonna totally kill the development of this legendary striker, because he's way too OP for your team. So he's playing with weaker players, so he's not gonna learn anything. He's not gonna progress. So it's really important, like what you are planning to do, that you kind of average out your teams. And that will be beneficial for
it is somewhat preparation for season 1 rather than trying to maximize my returns for let's say season 0.9 for the breakaway. For the breakaway, I'm trying to think a bit more ahead and look at season 1, because some people, it's opportunity cost of development or rewards or sooner success, we'll call it, with the stacking and the development piece. And people who maybe stack, I don't know, not say stack, but have a couple of really high-profile players that are clearly above the average in their team, are probably likely to do the same in season 1. But maybe this is what the breakaway does, like you said, and people who do that get punished, maybe, or maybe that's just coincidence. They don't do very well, but it could be it puts them off doing that in the season 1. So yeah, what about you then, Calva? What approach have you got?
Let's move on to. I'll tell you about my squad building, because I have way more problems, I think. And then with 8 teams, and then to talk about this other perspective, like you have one extra competition for cup and league winners. So I have 8 clubs, and 4 of my 8 clubs have won something, have won or a league or a cup, so they can take part in the Alpha Champions. So I'm really kind of overwhelmed or confused. It's like, so should I try to totally change everything around and then make sure that those 4 teams have like the best players possible, the best squad possible? Is that a smart tactic? So this Corsair Cove who won the double, I've already been kind of stacking them a bit more with a couple of more rare guys in there. But now, for example, Black Sea, who is in silver, you can still get Orango back, by the way, after that I tell this to you. They never won anything. So I'm really considering pulling loads of good rare players from the team and put them in one of those teams that won a cup or league, because they can have an extra shot at prizes, an extra shot at wins, an extra shot at tickets in the Alpha champions competition.
And do we know what that breakdown of prizes looks like for the Alpha Champions? We know the
This is
breakdown
the
for
thing.
the
It's
leagues and
only
the cups.
I think only a license, only a club license plus tickets.
Oh yeah,
But
of
still
course,
having a bigger,
yeah. So
but still having more tickets that can give you a couple extra players or a bit more MFL. So that's also not a bad thing to get a couple more tickets. That can also be a good investment to stack those teams who can get more wins for you.
Yeah, and yeah.
Because also a ticket is a ticket, right? I also realized this. Whether you are a diamond team beating a diamond team, or you are like totally noob Ice League team with like 40 rated players, the value of the ticket is the same, right? For the wheel, the wheel doesn't discriminate between a diamond league. There's no diamond wheel. There's no ice wheel. So that also changes things, I guess.
Yes, I guess. I see where you're coming from.
Like you're always kind of similar levels, right? Similar.
Yeah, but I guess the whole point of this season is everything is just similar, isn't it? Everything is equal, which I guess is maybe foreshadowing MFL 2-3 years down the line of relegation, promotion, or seasons down the line when everything is a bit more equal, maybe in the leagues. Yeah, that's an interesting strategy that obviously I've never thought of because I don't have that problem with that many clubs, but it's an interesting strategy to pull players from an unsuccessful club for 8 seasons or 7 seasons for you. No, Black Sea's been one of your OG clubs, isn't it? 8 years of mediocrity.
I wonder if I start at 0.1 with them.
Why? Where are the chants saying Calva out? Where's do they want to change in management maybe?
But like also now I'm brainstorming. Like this Alpha Champion strategy.
It's like single elimination. You could do it and then get knocked out game 1.
Yeah.
And do you want a bit more clarification on how the seeding works and if they are seeded brackets? Because maybe if it's like a silver or bronze team are using it on, you could get caught up in that. You could get caught up in that top 64. And you could get smacked against someone instantly, and then your strat's just gone out the window.
No, it is. That's what I said before. It's a bit of a mindfuck. Like what to do. So how to maximize? Well, probably the higher tiers have more MFL in terms of leagues and stuff, and cups, of course. So with my 8 clubs, I feel really bad for people with more than 10 clubs or 20 clubs.
I know some people have more than have more than 2. Maybe 3's enough. I'm here with 2, plus, we have the extras of, doing the podcast. But
maybe that's another hidden agenda. It's like
I did see Make Think sold a club this week.
Yeah. Maybe he's like...
maybe he's like, oh, hello, I got a bit too far with this one.
Yeah. How do you call this in economics, right? With those gentle nudges, right? To kind of nudge you to kind of have a balanced team. Without a couple of 2 good players, they kind of nudge you to rethink your teams ahead of season 1. They kind of nudge you to maybe get rid of a couple of clubs because it's too much work with this. Moving around all those players.
You could say maybe like
interesting.
A slight passive aggressive. There's nothing aggressive or passive. Well, mainly passive. Nothing aggressive about it. A little passive incentive to I'm gonna say de-risk, but it's not really de-risking, is it? Redistribute your time.
Yeah, redistribute. It's interesting, and also, so this is already a bit of like dilemma and pretty hard. Like what to do? Should I put those 4 winning teams, like league winning teams, cup winning teams? Should I really make them good or make them super balanced and have a good shot? Although in the Alpha Champions, the higher tiers, they have those bigger prizes. So that's already a bit complicated. But then the other thing that's a bit of a mindfuck is that with loaning players out, the vision also doesn't matter anymore, right? So I had someone writing to me on Discord about like, can I get those guys for ice? And my initial reaction, oh no, it's ice. Like
Yeah,
you
piss
cannot get
off,
my
piss off.
uncommon
I don't
guys
want
for ice.
that.
But then if he has a team full of uncommons and the vision doesn't matter, whatever, right? That's a pretty good team to kind of be on an iron level or bronze level.
Yeah.
So I think I just signed like 4 or 5 uncommons. So now his
Yeah.
team is starting 11 is already pretty moving up. So yeah, division, you can pretty much put all your guys on any division auto accept. Although then you have also the risk that, so this is another nudge, by the way, that you should really look into the guys. Who are you letting your guys, like your players, manage? Does he have potential to end top 2 in the league?
But we don't know that. That's the thing. You just don't know.
No, but like, do you think this guy has overperformed or underperformed previously? So then maybe you're more incentivized to really check out who am I loaning my players to? Is he a good active guy who can end in the top 2 and gets me some MFL? So that's like your first incentive, and then the second incentive is division doesn't matter. So check out.
You've got to look at cup performance. You look at historical cup performance, right?
Yeah. But also for the player, for season 1 player progression, then you also need to check out, is my guy going to be one of the better ones and lose progression? Is he going to be one of the weaker ones? And
you want him to be like a bang average player in the squad, don't you? You want him to be a bang average player.
So you're like really nudged and incentivized to ignore the vision and really focus on the guy, on the manager. Do I want to loan all those guys to him? So I think it's really it's amazing.
It's massive. It's a massive dilemma, isn't it? It's a massive dilemma. I mean, I'm even rethinking what I just said 5 minutes ago about my strategy, where I was like, I might take my 78 rated CDM out of my squad to balance my team out more. But afterwards, I said that the Wyverns do well in the cup. So why would I change things if I do well in the cup? Because clearly the team and the cohesion in the squad works well if they do well in the cup. If my team right now does well in the cup, I shouldn't change anything. Because they do well in the cup, they should in theory do well in the league. And they should in theory do well in the cups as well.
Yes. But then they also, if they are performing relatively well, they will win a lot of tickets for you, which maximizes your chance at prizes. Even on a lower level, even on your Espart Talis Stills Stone level, you can still get a lot of tickets with this overperforming team.
Have they confirmed whether or not it's 11 players they're using it on? The top 11? Matthew said here, he said, yes, we'll use the best 11 players. So that's also one thing to consider as well.
That's another thing.
That's another thing to consider. It's the
if
best
you have
11
great guys, and then because there's fatigue, your whole B team is pretty weak. That's a whole other thing to consider.
Yeah, if your top 2 players or top 3 players all play left mid, well then that's going to skew your average, isn't it? Because you can only play one of them at a time. So you may be in a slightly higher seeded league than you are to your strongest starting 11. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe you should also then to those teams, the 4 teams I have that compete in Alpha Champions, maybe I should make like 24 player, at least 22 player squads to have a full B team, A team. Maybe that's also a bit better instead of what I did before, like 3 strikers for 2 striker positions and rotate that. So there's like so much things to consider here, and that's what I like. It's almost like they're playing 4D chess with us, like we make all those moves and you have to do those moves.
The things that they're making us consider more, as you quite rightly pointed out, are the things which we will have to consider when season 1 comes around. So they're getting us into that groove. They're trying to mold us without actively molding us into how we should play MFL. Not how we should play, but what is the best way? And ultimately, it's going to be like, do you want more MFL coming in? Do you want development? Do you want, whatever?
It really forces you to really consider how to build your squad. and what is your goal.
Right.
It's
go on.
No, I think it's really amazing. The more we speak about it, the more I'm like, wow, it's really smart what they did.
Yeah.
It seems like some kind of fun, just like fun, spin a wheel. But actually, it really forces you to change perspective, consider all those things that the season 1 will play a big role. So we're all testing out a couple of new strategies and mentalities and ways of dealing with other managers and agents. So I think it's really big brain time, kind of. So what they did. Yes. Yeah, let's talk a bit to finish this episode about what do we expect is going to happen. Some speculation, how it will be for everyone, how it will be received.
Do people stay confused for the next 14 days?
A lot of confusion
until 7.5 days from the time of recording until registration ends. So you've got a good week to think about everything. Actually, on a quick one, speculation. 7.5 days, 707 clubs currently registered. Under or over 1,100.
Well, it should definitely be over, right?
What did we? I'm trying to think. What did we hit last season? Under or over?
I think also 1,100 something.
Let's go under or over 1,300 then. Push it.
I don't think there were so many more established recently.
Do you know what?
I think a little bit under, and I think the biggest marketing push is going to be season 1, because as we said before, it's a bit weird to push it now in this confusing times. So I don't think we'll see a huge influx of new users. So probably, I reckon it will stay a bit like last time, like 11.
Well,
11 or 1,200.
I've done a quick total up of all the participants in leagues in season 0.8, and it's 1,200.
Okay.
On the dot.
So I think similar.
So hang on, but you've not given me over or under. So 1,300. So you want to go under?
So I go under, yeah.
Well, I'll be the optimist out of the two of us then, and I'll reverse your decision. I'll go over 1,300.
Great.
But yeah, the marketing push is an interesting one. We could deliberate on that for a long time, and I think that's probably worth the episode when season 1 gets slightly closer.
Yes. Well, I expect there will be a lot of events, so we'll probably talk about it, or maybe dedicate a whole episode to that eventually.
Well, we could dedicate an episode to season 1 at some point. Yeah. So hashtag time in today's episode to prove you've been listening this far into the episode. Hashtag the nudge. Just to spell that out, that's THE, the NUDGE. Hashtag the nudge. Because as we've discussed today, and the more we've discussed about it, the more we've, appreciated and come to terms with how much we are passively being nudged to how we should maybe manage our teams a bit better, how we should maybe think about development decisions, think about those sort of pieces, recruiting, a bit more to about the research, due diligence as a manager and an agent, how they're giving us a little bit of a push in some directions, maybe the NFL team. Hashtag the nudge. Thank you very much for listening, everyone. Hashtag, I'm about to say the nudge. The nudge. Make sure, I can't say like, subscribe, and rate. We're not even on YouTube. You're the YouTuber over here. You're the YouTube sensation out of the two.
Well, you can say like, subscribe to Calvinator YouTube if you want.
I'll leave that bit in. So you've shouted out yourself just there. So yeah, if you're not following, you're not liking, you're not 5-star rated the pods on your platform of choice, wherever you listen to us, make sure you go do so. Greatly be appreciated. And without further ado, thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you this time next week for an episode of the Wendercast. Thank you for listening.